Hello, I'm Bradley and welcome to my channel. Breathe and accept the worries you can't control. Move on. If only it was that simple. And believe you me, at 31 years of age, I've spent a lot of my life worrying about things. And I've always tried to take control. And I go through waves in my life where I can be doing really, really good to control worries, and then something can just happen, and then I seem to worry consistently for quite a long time, and then I have a bit of a word with myself, or I have that strong influence from my amazing parents or my nan, and then I come out of it. And it's almost like that throughout areas of my life, I've worried more and I've worried less, but there's always been an element of worry. Now, my friends, I'm saying to you that worry isn't really, really terrible. It's not absolutely disastrous, but it needs to be controlled, because if it's not controlled, then it consumes you. And I'll be honest, I hold my hands up. I have been consumed by worry at times in my life quite extensively. So I would say in the last 5, 6 years, I've gone through quite a lot of operations. I've gone through quite a lot of heartbreak when I lost my nan, who was my absolute world. I've had different changes in health. I've had different jobs. I've had family members go through difficult times. And no matter how people try to put it to me that your family members, it's them, they're going through it, it's not you. For me, it doesn't do that. And a lot of people will resonate with me on this as well, that if it is your family, if that person is close to you and they mean the world to you, whatever they go through, you go through as well. So worry for me has always been quite a consistent factor in my life. What do I do to get over it? Or what do I do to control it? Sometimes I'm that wrapped up in worry, then it's really, really difficult. And then I find that it starts to affect my health. And it was at the back end of 23 to about the halfway point up to 2024 where worry really took a real extensive leap in my life, where I started to have really poor health from it, and I was starting to have some really quite nasty falls. I had a couple of seizures through a lot of things going on, and it was a real awful cycle, which I was going through, a real difficult time of my life. So I was forced to start to control worries. Now, this is what I've learnt. I'm 31 years of age, and this is what I've learnt. And people will think, why is it taking you that long to realise these things? Well, here goes. Well, a lot of my life, I have worried about career, personal life, the expectations of which society puts on us as young people, family members, life in general, longevity. And in that, I mean having somebody who means the world to you and watching them age and watching them slip into an illness, but yet you can see with every breath, in every blink of their eye, they're fighting it. So all of those worries. So for me, what I tell myself is that take that moment and take that clarity and that quietness with your mind. And actually, if you cannot control that worry within the next 10 minutes, then put it to one side and move on. I am not for 1 minute going to sit here and say to you to accept it, okay? Because I hate that when people say, accept that you can't control it and move on. We already know that in our head. That's why we worry about it. That's why we fixate on it. And the difference is that you're not being irrational, you're not being difficult, you're not being absurd. You're being emotional, but you're intact with those emotions, and that's because it means something to you at heart. And you are going to get through this. Whatever worries you're dealing with, my friend, I look at them as they are a storm. And storms pass. And the feelings, the emotions you're feeling is all very real and very relevant to you. But they do pass. And you do get through it. And I think if I was to tell myself, my 10 years younger version self, do you know what, in the next decade, there's going to be some pretty radical changes in your life. And there's going to be moments where you'll think you're never ever going to get through it. You do. You do. But what you've got to do is you've got to stay with your mind fixed on what matters to you, and you've got to run with it. You've got to make time for yourself, and you've got to keep picking yourself up. Why? Because this life is incredible and it is precious. And When you have people in your life who mean the world to you, yes, you will do everything, but you have to take perspective that actually they love you as well, and they are watching you go through worry and stress and trauma too. And I think taking that perspective almost calms my mind and gives me a little bit of solitude that actually, do you know, all the worry in the world? Yes. Do you know, all the worry in the world, it can't change things. But the people who know about this worry and what I'm going through, they matter. And if they're kept involved and they're informed, and I feel that connection, that love with them, it's made so much more easier. But to me, the things which you can't control, okay, so when you walk into a situation, whether it be a job, whether it be, let's say, an interview, or whether it be in a social situation and you're worrying about what somebody thinks of you, all of those things, my friend, I have spent a lot of time in my life already worrying about probably all of those things, trying to sort of fit in with a certain group at work or fit a certain expectation in society, to achieve a certain expectation in society. And you know, all of those things. And actually, do you know what? What I would simply say to my younger version of myself, or to anybody who faces endless worries which traumatize them. And let's be honest, worry can traumatize people when it's left to an extensive time period of worry. That actually, do you know what? All the worrying in the world, okay, I cannot change another person's thoughts. I cannot change what somebody thinks of me. I cannot put a good idea in somebody's head. I cannot realize something for somebody else. I cannot make somebody achieve something. I cannot change somebody. I cannot affect somebody else's decisions through all of my worries. But I can work hard. I can stay strong. I can spread goodness. I can be kind, and I can listen, and I can support, and I can always be there. But what I can't do is make that end goal outside of my life. So, for example, a family member, or a decision, or a situation, or somebody's thought process. I can't make that happen, but I can do the best of what I can do with what I've got. And if I do that, then I can't do no more. And on that note, leave it. Stop that worry, accept that worry that you have no control, and move on. This life is far too precious, my friend. And I realise that was very, very deep. But from somebody who's experienced a lot in 31 years of life and been taught so much from incredible individuals, and yet life has had quite a few nasty storms in my life, but I've got through it. And all the worrying in the world, no, it didn't help, but it certainly shaped me of the person of who I am. And this is all a journey. And you know what? All of these worries, these fears, let's be honest, most of it doesn't happen. But some of it, sadly, does. And I think that's a healthy realism that in this life, there is not always going to be bright blue skies and sunny flowers every single day. But that's not for us to scare people. That's not for us to take a moment to kind of almost put the cold shudders into somebody. But it's a healthy realism and perspective on worry. That a certain amount of worry is really empowering. It's really stimulating. And it helps us achieve. It helps us to take control. It helps us to embed positive change. But you let it go too far, and it does absorb you. It takes over, and it can destroy you. So the key, keep going. Do what you can, and sometimes leave the worry alone, my friend. God bless. Take great care, and I look forward to you joining me real soon. Bye now.